After a 5-year UN study by an international group of scientists, the consensus was not only is global warming a real phenomenon, but it is accelerating at an alarmingly rapid pace. It is my belief that we must act dramatically. It is my belief that we must act now. To come at this thing in slow, gradual increments, I believe, would be like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. I told Channel 19 News in Cleveland, Ohio that we should look at global warming as a pro-life issue. No world, no life. Common sense. And here's some more common sense. Why not risk erring on the side of caution on this one? I mean, what's it going to hurt to sacrifice some of our energy consumption across the board and in tandem go to more and more clean alternative energy sources? If the UN scientists are right, we save the planet and the world gets greener. If they're wrong, the world gets greener anyway. However, if the UN scientists are right and we do nothing, well, I told a newspaper reporter in Griffin, Georgia that my wife Liz and I want to make sure our children have a world to live in. So how do we ensure this? Our administration would steer America away from being the leading society of consumers to being the leading society of conservers. I mean, if we're going to lead, why not lead the right way, huh? At the National Press Club in D.C., I said that as president I would immediately sign the Kyoto Protocol, a UN-generated set of international standards for reducing carbon dioxide emissions. Then I would turn the White House into a Kyoto Protocol home zone, as we have done with our small place in Ohio. Our family doesn't use air conditioning. We bicycle or walk almost everywhere within a 5-mile radius. During the winter, we cut the thermostat back and wear sweaters. We dry our clothes on the line. We live simply and have a minimum of material things. We often forget it currently takes the burning of fossil fuels in order to make most of these material things. On the White House roof, as President Carter had, there would again be solar panels. And there would be a small wind turbine as well. And as president, I would ask every American to consider doing as comprehensive a version of the Kyoto Protocol home zone as they could. To help propel this shift, we would push for significant taxes on home and business energy use, with breaks, of course, for low-income people. We would also push to significantly increase gasoline taxes and impose significant tolls to travel on federal highway system roads. We would then take the tax money to subsidize much more robust programs to develop clean, renewable technologies for solar, wind, geothermal, etc. As we would also use some of this tax money to help homeowners with the installation of some of these alternative energy systems. For instance, in Manchester, Michigan, we learned about an award-winning zero-energy solar home. And in the Upper Peninsula's Hancock, Michigan, we researched a geothermal home that had a $17 heating bill for January. National Geographic calls America's Great Plains states the Saudi Arabia of wind. And in Mandan, North Dakota, and Weatherford, Oklahoma, we looked at tremendously successful wind turbine projects. In Deming, New Mexico, we learned about the Southwest Desert Sustainability Project, which provides homeowners with strategies for insulation, retrofitting, and an array of alternative energy strategies. We would also provide more incentives for alternative vehicles, bicycling, and, well, walking. Remember that? Walking? In High Springs, Florida, we talked with Dan Burton. He has developed a walkable community model that would make traveling in these slower modes of transportation much easier and safer. In fact, ultimately, we would seek to shift America back to a much more decentralized orientation with much more local production for local consumption and the like it was in the old days in this country. John F. Kennedy once said, "It's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." When it comes to global warming, well, It's not necessarily what the environment can do for us anymore, but rather what we can do for the environment. And there's a lot. What's more, our kids are counting on us.